want to make sure I'm up and running. Looks like I'm up. I believe I have this up and running now. Just double checking. Playing with some new technology today, so yep, we're up and running. Fantastic. How's everybody doing? We are tracking a wintry mix today. We have a couple of frontal boundaries that are bringing us a mixed bag of precipitation, and I have a lot I want to discuss, a lot to talk about. What's going to happen over the next couple of hours? Um, why so far today things have been a little slow. Things are going to ramp up quickly. Um, we will notice a sharp uptick in deteriorating conditions as we head into the evening for multiple reasons. Uh, Heavier precipitation will arrive, colder air will arrive. Keeping an eye on a little bit of everything. Ground reports right now, keeping an eye on the sleet, snow, mixing line, keeping an eye on visibility issues, keeping an eye on traffic, road conditions. I only have one accident to report right now, and it's coming from Rome, which makes sense. Rome is on the colder side of the storm. Um, Black River Boulevard at East Chestnut Street. That's for Oneida County. You're able to see Oneida County's reports. So let's go through. As you can see, downtown Utica, seeing a rain-snow mix. Precipitation remains very light at this time. We're going to continue to see that. That light. We're going to continue to see precipitation. excuse me, slowly increase in terms of intensity as this front continues to slide in. I'm going to play around a little bit with the radar here. You can see we have a very sharp line of mixing versus snow. I'm going to put this on 1 hour loop and loop it. Notice how I'm going to go, actually, I got to do a little bit longer of a. Notice how the general direction of that rain sleet line, especially up here over the last 2 hours, we're seeing colder air beginning to work in to areas north of here. And that's going to continue. The sleet line will continue to move farther south. We're going to see Utica switch over from a rain snow mix over to plain snow. These trends will continue. But I just wanted to point out we're already seeing evidence of that on the radar. We're already seeing that snow sleet line continue to drop farther south from Utica, and that we expect that to continue. Zooming in, these are the areas where we're really anticipating the largest of issues today. The Mohawk Valley areas, Utica, Rome. This corridor, this Mohawk Valley, the Mohawk Valley is going to trap cold air today, and it's going to really create the most major impacts in some of our more populated locations. And it's not going to take a lot. So it's one of those storm systems that's bringing a mix of not just sleet and freezing rain, which could create some slip conditions, but the fact that when it does accumulate a little bit of snow, it's going to be a very sloppy, a very slushy snow. It's going to be one of those situations that turns the roads very slippery very quickly. It's not going to take much to turn the roads slick. just a coating rather than what might from lake effect might be several inches in terms of equivalent impacts. Just a light coating of this very slimy, grimy, sloppy snow is going to create and lead to impacts. Let's take a look at temperatures across the region. We're still above freezing everywhere in the Mohawk Valley and points northward. We're going to see these temperatures continue to slowly drop as the cold air and evaporative cooling continues. I also want to point out, take a look at the Oneontakin. Okay, my hand will disappear if I go above there. Take a look at the Oneontakin. Near zero visibility. There are still areas that are seeing really, really poor visibility with regards to fog. If you look off of our tower cam, you can see that there is some fog in the distance as you look towards the city of Utica. We don't have a perfect picture of the city of Utica, so reduced visibilities even without the precipitation. So just keep that in mind. Taking a look across the southern tier, temperatures are in the mid to upper 30s. But again, this Mohawk Valley area, this northern Otsego County, southern Herkimer County, this area is going to trap cold air. This is where we're already seeing some of the coldest temperatures. Griffiths at Rome, not nearly as cold, still at 38 degrees and going to continue to slowly decline. Road conditions at this time, not too bad. We're beginning to see it looks like some light snow beginning to fall up in Barneveld, but still no major issues on the roadways just yet. And that's evident by looking at our traffic tracker, both the north and south. I wanted to show this now as it's purely green. We're going to continue to watch this deteriorate. We're going to continue to see yellows, increase in yellows on here, maybe even some oranges, and hopefully not any red. Again, that visibility. Binghamton Airport now reporting 0 miles of visibility. We were looking at the Oneonta which Central Otsego County, that's still seeing very poor visibility. All of us across central New York seeing some reduced visibility this morning. And this is due to a bit of an inversion, which basically means as you go up into the atmosphere, temperatures are supposed to decrease as you go up with height. An inversion is where there's a little bit of a warm layer when you're increasing as you go up into the atmosphere. An inversion is when temperatures begin to increase and not decrease. And that can create this type of scenario where we have some fog trapped at the surface. We're seeing a wide range of conditions across the area. We're seeing some areas that are seeing snow, some areas are seeing rain, other areas are seeing a mix of both. We'll take all of the ground reports that we can get today, as well as temperature reports, because it's going to be one of those very, very close to the freezing line events. Travel impacts this afternoon, a wintry mix. Tonight, things really pick up when we fully transition over to that wet snow. It's going to be very sloppy very quickly, especially within the Mohawk Valley. Utica, Rome, the Mohawk Valley going to turn very sloppy. The evening commute looking very messy. Tomorrow, a dry day, a fully dry day. And then Friday, a mix of rain and snow again. Reports from Eric. Eric's on his way home right now. He's driving through it. It was light snow up here on Smith Hill. As he's gotten to the bottom of the hill, he's saying that it's primarily rain, but there are a couple of ice chunks within the rain. The important thing that he told me is that it's very light. We're still not seeing that heavy precipitation, those heavier rates. Those will come later this afternoon. We'll see that, and I'll show that on the radar. I want to show things continue to remain mild over the next couple of days, and then things turn chillier this weekend. Our snowfall forecast has not changed. However, we just really didn't want to confuse anyone. I'm going to zoom this out a little bit. We are now believing that these numbers, the 1 to 3, the 3 to 6, and the 1 to 3, we're going to be on the lower side of these totals. So 1 to 3 inches for the city of Utica, probably 2 to 4 inches for Rome, Camden, and Boonville. Some of the extreme hilltops that are close enough to the system very well could get into some of the higher totals. I'm going to draw some circles on here, some areas that could see some higher totals. That's the one area that could verify 3 to 6 inches, just north of the Mohawk Valley, yet just close enough to the heavy precipitation. Everyone else, we're thinking more of a 2 to 4 inch snowfall within the blue. In the pink areas, 1 to 3 inches. The North Country, things are trending drier for the North Country. Old Forge area may see very little precipitation at all. Obviously, what they will see will fall in the form of snow, but it may be very, very minimal as to what falls across the North Country. Tonight, we're going to see calmer conditions. Lows are going to be in the low 20s, patchy fog again. I wanted to show the 7-day forecast one time before we go back and really dive into the radar for several consecutive days. Again, a dry day Thursday, wintry mix Friday, light snow Saturday and Sunday as we're on northwest winds. Lake effect snow returns. We also have a weak clipper system that's going to move through. Some light snowfalls, but a return to more wintry weather. And hold your screen there. I'm about to go way back to the front here. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Let's take a look at current radar, live and paused. There we go. Taking a look at the correlation coefficient. So now when I go from here, this is the Montague radar site. So we're getting radar beams shot from up on the Tug Hill Plateau, and it's going out in all directions, but it's above the sleet line and not detecting any sleet. Now when I switch it down to the Binghamton radar and I scroll down, we get a clear picture of where the mixing is occurring. Beneath, south of where we're seeing these yellows, greens, and non-red, I should say anything that is solid red is really indicating plain rain, and that was expected. We're going to continue to see this rain line. We have a rain line basically just outside of our viewing area. And then our viewing area, I'm going to draw another line. If you're in between these yellow lines, you're likely seeing some form of a mix, something that includes sleet. If not, the sleet is above in the atmosphere. The radar could be detecting it above the surface, but this is a mix, an indication that there is mixing going on. Temperatures are above freezing, so we don't have to worry about freezing rain unless you're on an isolated hilltop where we can't get a reading. However, sleet, wintry mix, snow rain mix, that's going to continue for these areas. Snowfall, primarily from these points northward, we see primarily sleet and snow. If you're right along this yellow line, we do expect it to drift a little bit southward. I will clear this out. I think what we'll see over the next couple of hours is we will see this sleet line start to go like this. And we'll see a natural colder air within the valley settling in, and it'll increase the amount of snow in those areas in between these two yellow lines. Clear this all out. Go back to regular old radar. Oops, I hit velocity. That's not, we don't need that today. Nothing spinning today. I'm going to click off of this. Put this on a 1 hour loop. And click play. I want to zoom out. We still have a lot of precipitation to work through. It's still snowing and rain. I should say it's still precipitating all the way back in Buffalo, and this has a general direction of east northeast. So we're looking at about that angle of this snow, maybe even a little bit more southerly, a little bit more easterly, west east. And this is going to continue to swing through. We're going to continue to see precipitation for several more hours. And again, the worst is yet to come. We're going to see precipitation rates increase. We're going to also see the amount of wintry precipitation increase. Let's take a look a little bit closer, zooming in here. We're seeing some pinks. Again, that's matches the correlation coefficient. Could be seeing some sleet and freezing rain in northern Otsego County, especially the hills of Madison County, likely seeing some heavy mixing right now. You notice I'm looking at the Nexus cam when I turn my head to get a very view, and you can get a view of the Nexus cam above my head here. That's in the top left of the square above my head. I'm waiting for a changeover from rain to snow to occur within downtown Utica. And I think what's going to happen is that's going to take until you see this sharp. I'm going to pause this at the end of the loop. Notice how it's really dark. There's a big change. If you're over here, it is very dark blue. If you're over here, it's very light blue. I really believe that that's the difference between who is seeing snow reach the ground, who is not seeing snow reach the ground. I believe once those precipitation rates increase, we're going to see that snowfall begin to take over. But that's why I'm sitting here, because none of this is set in stone. We're right near the freezing mark. We have a very complex atmospheric situation going on. Eric was showing earlier. I'm going to draw it right now because I don't have the default. We have a cold front. I drew that the wrong way, but we have a cold front working this way. We have a warm front this way. Have them on opposite sides. And we have a battle of cold and warm air. And this battle of cold and warm air is going to continue, and we're going to continue to watch. We're right in the middle of the battleground, which is why we're seeing the mix. That's why we're right in this zone in between the snow, in between the rain, and our temperatures are very marginal, right around the freezing mark, and we're actually tracking temperatures to slowly decline. This yellow and these heavier precipitation rates showing up across northern Shenango and all of Otsego and southern Madison counties. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's absolutely downpouring outside. Sometimes the radar does this thing called bright banding, and it measures melting snowflakes as they're falling. And when it does that, it recognizes it as a heavier precipitation rate than is actually occurring. It's also a sign of mixing when we see some of these really bright colors. So I do believe that it's not quite downpouring in these areas. It's just that there is a wintry mix either in the atmosphere or in the atmosphere and at the surface. I'm going to check a couple of ground reports. See if there's any additional.
Looks like they installed outdoor heaters or something.
Temperatures have dropped. The Westmoreland Mesonet station has gone from 36 to 35. The Brookfield Mesonet station's gone from 34 to 33. Let's see what Rome has done. Rome was dropping. They were at 38, got all the way up to 38. And they were down to 37 last I had looked. 37 and dropping. Another thing we want to make you aware of today, air quality. Air quality is not perfect. We have air quality alerts in place. There are fine particulates that are trapped by the fog and the snow and the inversion near the surface. Now, it's not dangerous or hazardous, but it is to those that are incredibly sensitive. If you're someone who constantly checks air quality because you may have a condition where a slight change in air quality could have an effect on you. It's just one of those days where we would say that this only affects some individuals that are very sensitive to air quality issues, and that's because our air quality index, which is measured on a scale of 0 to 500, we typically deem 0 to 50 as healthy, 50 to 100 as elevated, and then anything above 100 as slightly unhealthy. Air quality index values range between 100 and 150, so we are in that slightly unhealthy range, which prompted the state to pull the trigger on air quality alerts. And yes, it is New York State that helps. It's the New York State with the DEC that helps the National Weather Service issue air quality alerts. It's not the National Weather Service on their own.
Well, Bob, that is a positive step.
Per Eric, theory confirmed. The mixing in the atmosphere is 100% correct. It's freezing into sleet and melting before it reaches the ground. There we go. So it's rain at the surface with temperatures above freezing and sleeting up above us. He says he ran into the sleet line somewhere between New Hartford and Chadwicks, which that is supported by our radar here. New Hartford on the snow side here. New Hartford seeing snow. And then as you get a little bit further south, we're starting to see that mixing in. So that confirms it's nice to get ground reports from not just you guys, from everyone, from family, because every little bit of information adds up. Checking your comments now. Nothing in Camden yet. Not surprised by that. It should moisten up. The atmosphere should moisten up in Camden enough soon. Nothing in Rome yet. That's a little surprising, but again, that'll change. Rain snow mix in Clinton. That's right about what we expect. Just starting to snow in Clinton. Westmoreland Mesonet Station down to 34, which is showing that that colder air is beginning to work in. We're seeing that back to the west as well. The north shore of, the south shore of Lake Ontario, Rochester area, temperatures are in the extreme low 30s, just now below freezing. And we can see that these areas have dropped below freezing. We're seeing freezing rain in the pink, some sleet in the purple there, and in Monroe and Wayne counties, primarily snow. Oswego County seeing snow. The north side of Syracuse seeing snow. The south side of Syracuse seeing a mix. But again, notice these heavier, darker colors. These are heading in our direction. We're going to notice deteriorating conditions. As these rates increase, the effects will increase immensely. Still looking very light in terms of the precipitation in Utica, which is expected. Winter weather advisories remain in place for Shenango, Cortland, Delaware, Madison, Onondaga, Otsego, and northern and southern Oneida counties. And that is until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's due to this ongoing precipitation, this ongoing snow, wintry mix, and rain-snow mix to the south. I want to look up the air quality alert and see the range for the times on that. That is in effect until midnight. They're hoping that by tomorrow things clear, which they likely will. See if there's any updates for Oneida County. Motor vehicle accident in the city of Utica at J Street and Mohawk Street. Don't know if that's weather related or not. Look through a couple other things again. Local temperatures, we're noticing these are dropping. These were in the upper 30s. Now we're down into the mid 30s. We're going to continue to watch that trend. Southern Tier, Deansboro down to 33. Southern Tier, we're seeing lower 30s now. Again, this area, this southern Herkimer County, northern Otsego County is going to see that cold air trapped in there. Griffiths continuing to hang on to 36 degrees. Not seeing overly breezy conditions. Road conditions, not terrible. That changes tonight, and it's not going to take much. Just a little bit of sleet and a little bit of snow is going to create a very thin layer of slop on the roads, and that's all it's going to take. It's just that little half inch of accumulation to create extremely dangerous conditions. It's that type of snow that is very, very wet. There's a lot of water in the snow, and that increases the level of slipperiness. This is a low pressure system. It's not a lake effect precipitation. Lake effect has much more air in the snow, much less water. That's why sometimes lake effect, we can get 6 inches of it and we can drive through it and it's a little less slippery. This is not going to be the case. We're going to see very, very compact snow, very, very wet snow, and it's not going to take much at all. Just a coating to make things slick. Take a look at Route 20 in Deerfield here in the bottom left Hang on one sec. Oops. Looks like Route 20 in the southern tier seeing a little bit of a rain snow mix there on the camera. We can't get it to fully switch over, unfortunately, but Oh, I was wondering what was going on there for a second. The computer froze up on me. Here's evidence of mixing. First, here's a travel alert just north of Manlius. Car accident, not on a main road. Looks like this is on a side road in between Manlius and Fayetteville. We're going to continue to see these deteriorating conditions. So just be careful on roadways. We're seeing all green on here right now, and that's why I'm showing it, because it is not going to look that way later tonight. Another reminder that we're seeing fog. We're seeing areas of fog. Take a look at the cameras above me, the tower cam, the cameras above my head, the tower cam and the tower cam, as well as the Oneonta cam, both showing fog, both showing reduced visibilities. Just keep that in mind that you're not going to be able to see too far. You're going to want to take it slow, not just because of the road conditions, but because of visibility. Wanted to see if there was any visibility issues on the Mesonet cams, and I'm not seeing any at this time. Woodgate looks like it's seeing a little bit of snowfall now. A reminder, the peak impacts tonight occurred this evening, really between 3 and 9 p.m. are really going to be the peak of this event. That's when the sloppiest of the precipitation falls from the sky. It's where we start to see snow accumulate along the I-90 corridor as well as the Mohawk Valley. Our snowfall forecast remains unchanged. However, we do believe we're going to be on the lower end of these numbers, primarily 2 to 4 inches across the blue areas, primarily 1 to 2 inches in the pink areas. If you're along the blue-pink borders, especially across the southern one here, you can pretty much split the difference and say 1 to 3 to 2 to 4 inches if you're right along this blue-pink line. Back to the south, plain old rain from Norwich and points south and west. We're seeing just rainfall. We're seeing multiple mixed bag of conditions across the region today, and that's going to continue. Go all the way back to the radar. Sorry if I make you dizzy. Let's check out that sleet line again. Showing up very well. I'm going to put a track on it, though, or a loop on it, though, and I want to see if we could see it moving at all. Okay, so here's one thing that jumps out to me when I look at this. Take a look at these areas. They were seeing mixing. They're seeing less mixing. The beginning of this loop, especially this area, especially northern Otsego County, extreme eastern Madison County. Those areas, we're seeing more mixing than they are at this point. You notice that sleet line has a general trajectory in that area where southern Oneida County was seeing some mixing. It doesn't appear to be anything more than a rain-snow mix now. The sleet and the freezing rain looks to be back towards northern Shenango, southern Otsego County, back to the west, in the Syracuse areas west of Syracuse, Cortland. Switch back to the radar now. Now let's see. We watched this pink. We have this pink showing up here. We were just watching that sleet line move this way. Let's see if we see an increase in pink and blue in that direction if we put a loop on this. No, actually. But that can be radar doing its thing. We did see a little bit of an uptick in pink, especially in eastern Otsego County. but it's less of an effect as I expected. We're going to have to continue to watch. We have heavier precipitation beginning to work in. We're going to have to really continue to watch what type of precipitation falls once the precipitation rate increases. Downtown Utica still just seeing plain old rain. Still just plain old rain in downtown Utica. You can see just how sharp of a line this is. I'm going to put a pause on this. We have mixing. If you're in those yellow lines, you're seeing mixing. If you're south of those lines, you're seeing plain old rain, cold rain. And if you're north of those, if you're north of both of those lines, you're seeing snowfall. Wet, heavy snowfall. I'm going to leave this on loop. This is a 1 hour loop. I'm just going to check reports, check your comments. Reports of the fog being horrible, absolutely terrible last night. I absolutely believe that. West Winfield, there you go, extreme southern extreme southern Herkimer County, beginning to mix with snow. My initial thoughts of that colder air beginning to drop southward into northern Otsego County looks to be true. Hopefully the fog tonight is not as bad. The inversion doesn't look as strong. Shouldn't be as bad. Rudy saying that it has switched over to snow in Syracuse, which gives me the theory or the thought that Utica will see snow. It's just a matter of when. $33 now in Morrisville, 33 in Fayetteville. So again, as this precipitation is moving in, it's dropping the temperatures. That's because of evaporative cooling. As the atmosphere is moistening, there is precipitation that is evaporating. That is a process that releases heat, and it allows the atmosphere to cool as the evaporation occurs. And that's what's going to allow for us to make that transition over from mix to snow in those borderline locations. Want to check Griffiths. Old Forge down to 34 now. The North Country. I was just looking at the word old. The North Country beginning to get back to temperatures where we expect. I'm looking at a video of North Rochester, heavy snow. One hour ago, Utica's reporting a motor vehicle accident on the corner of Court Street and Sunset within the city of Utica. So again, if you're doing any traveling today, if you can avoid travel. It's as simple as that. Things are going to turn very quickly. Even though right now we're seeing plain rain in Utica, temperatures are barely above freezing, and once it switches to snow, it is going to deteriorate the roadways very quickly. It's not going to take long. We're going to see a quick change in conditions. Not exactly sure if that occurs in 15 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour, but it's going to happen. Checking additional reports. Getting 40 minutes ago, reported rain in Cooperstown. Snow in Cedarville. I'm going to put up a quick post on Facebook asking for reports. Okay, got that post up on my personal page. Let me give myself a plug. If you haven't followed me on my personal Facebook page, you should do so. I post a lot of fun stuff. I like to make fun of myself. I don't take myself too seriously. That didn't work. I got to repost that. I'm leaving it. I was supposed to post as an image and it didn't, but that's fine. Brookfield Big Flakes. Got a picture right here just sent to me 5 minutes ago. And if it started 5 minutes, I mean, Big Flakes, the coating of this car, or I should say the hood of this car is already coated in snow. And that's at temperatures above freezing. And that's why we're talking about we're going to see these impacts turn on very quickly. We're going to see rapidly deteriorating conditions. We're going to go from a very mild afternoon with just dreary weather to a slop. That's the best word to describe today. Slop. A wet, slushy, slimy snow. Just replying to a few of you on Facebook. Snow has changed, or excuse me, Little Falls, rain has changed to snow. Another sign that things are turning more wintry. Snow is mixing with rain in Herkimer. If it's changed to snow in Little Herkimer in a short period of time, maybe not short period of time, but within a couple of hours at the very most. Let's see if we can look at the temperatures again. We're noticing a straight downward trend with these as the evaporative cooling and the cold air damming occurs. Temperatures were in the upper 30s. We're now down into the mid 30s. Let's see what's going on in the southern tier. Again, that northern Otsego area has that cold pocket of air, only low 30s there. This area, this area where we're expecting primarily rain across southern Shenango County, they're warmer, which was expected. But look at the difference between Sherburne and Hamilton. Very close to each other, 4 degrees apart. That could be a complete difference in precipitation type. It could probably it's probably a rain snow, or excuse me, it's probably a rain sleet mix in Sherburne with mostly rain falling, and probably a rain snow mix with mostly snow falling in the hills of Hamilton. I'm going to show road conditions. We're still seeing primarily clear roadways, but again, with temperatures near freezing, you're going to want to be careful out there, especially on side streets that get less treated less frequently. Well, our first yellow has showed up on here, and it's happening in an area southwest of Utica, which is the area that we're expecting the colder air to occur. We've gotten reports of snow in New Hartford, and that's the area where we're seeing some slowdowns. Middle Settlement Road, seeing some, not Middle Settlement Road. Looks like the arterial actually seeing a little bit of slowdown. Arterial North seeing a little bit of a slowdown. So again, everybody taking it easy as they should be, whether they're being forced to or not. We want to continue to stress that these road conditions are only going to deteriorate. Still rain in Utica. Continuing to watch conditions slowly deteriorate. I see the reason now. There's an accident on Commercial Drive in Whitestown that just came in on the Mohawk or on the Oneida County feed 8 minutes ago. So again, if you're doing any traveling, no matter your location today, be careful. Please be careful. Try not to if you don't have to. Things are going to turn for the worse very quickly. So now we're seeing a little bit of a northward jog with this rain and sleet, and I don't think that's going to continue because we're getting reports of colder air beginning to work in across southern Herkimer County. Notice the pinks have moved farther north, though. That could be a sign of the radar finally picking up on the fact that it's already been mixing in this area. Either way, hilltops within that yellow zone seeing snowfall. Brookfield, for example, West Winfield, for example. And we got a long way to go, folks. As we look back to the west, there's plenty of precipitation still to come. We're looking at a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch of liquid today. I don't know why the camera just shot down at my hands. Let's see if I can get it to come back up to my head. The camera might be broke. I've never gotten a red light from the camera. There we go. I think that means it's battery? I don't know. It's working. Rain sleet mix in Holland Patent from Mike. Rain in Cooperstown. New York Mills. This is a good report because we're right in the Utica area. Light rain with some snowflakes mixing in. That's exactly what I expect. That's exactly what I expect for Central for the Mohawk Valley right now. That rain snow mix to begin to really be the beginning of the event, and then things turn sloppier as the evening progresses. We notice the rain becomes fewer and far between. The snowflakes become more prevalent, and things turn very sloppy and slushy. We're also keeping an eye out. I don't like that consistent pink there. That's a sign of freezing rain. If you're noticing any icing, any accumulating ice, please send us a report as soon as possible. Even if it's just a glaze on the cars, that's the one thing we like to relay as soon as possible, because when there is any icing going on, that is when road conditions are at their most dangerous. So if we can even get reported that there's a little bit of freezing drizzle, even though we are seeing evidence of freezing rain mixing in with the sleet, it's at temperatures above freezing. But if we can get reports of the actual rain and freezing rain sticking to surfaces and creating icy surfaces, that is very important. Checking reports once again. Let's see if that accident in New Hartford is showing up on the traffic tracker yet. Oh, you know what? I got this. Clear that away for you. There we go. No, not showing up. But again, there is an accident on Middle Settlement. Trying to find it. It's in this general area. Maybe it's minor and traffic is unaffected. Hopefully that's the case. Oh, hang on a second, folks. Let's check this out. You tell me. Are these raindrops or are these snowflakes? These look like raindrops to me. I think we are seeing a little bit of snow pellets mixing in with the rain now in downtown Utica. Just it looks like the size of the raindrops has increased, which would make me think that those might have some snow characteristics to them. What's really cool, see if it'll let me do it. I don't think it will. No, I can't from this location, but in the middle, if I was not live streaming, I'd be able to zoom in on this. We could get a closer look. Either way, temperatures still barely above freezing. Let's talk about temperatures as we look across the North Country. Mid-30s. These are going to continue to drop. We're going to continue to see temperatures approach the freezing mark. 33 in Deansboro. That's really where we're beginning to see mixing occur. We look towards the southern tier. This area, northern Otsego County, southern Herkimer County, seeing snow and wintry mix. 33 Cooperstown, 33 Cherry Valley. Those are the areas where that cold air is locked in. warmer air down to the other portions of the southern tier. Shenango County seeing primarily rain, 37 in Afton, 36 in Norwich, 38 in Sherburne. Big difference. There is a the sleet line is right about here, and you can see that in temperatures. We got 38 to the south of that, and we got 33, 34 to the north of that. So that is also supporting what we're seeing on radar. I'll show the correlation coefficient again so you can see just how well these tools work. These tools are incredible. So this is awesome. So beginning of the loop. I'm going to draw the sleet line at the beginning of the loop. And then I'm going to put it an hour later and draw it again. So what do we see there? As expected, that sleet line in general, that mixing line, continuing to push away from the Mohawk Valley, which is why we're going to see that wintry precipitation begin to inch its way in to Utica, Mohawk Valley, and points northward. Put the loop on this so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see how there's sleet in between the lines, the beginning of the loop. At the end of the loop, that sleet begins to retreat back towards the south. That's evidence that colder air is working in, that snowier conditions are working in within those areas. Still looking like plenty of sleet mixing in across central southern Otsego County, north central Shenango County, as well as